Well, hello there all you absolutely magnificent people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, where we talk about nature while playing games. My name is Will, I'm an ecologist by training and slightly insane, and this is Monster Hunter World. And we are going to go off on an expedition again, and this time around I do believe our target will be the Puki-Puki, which we will see shortly. But let's just quickly check here, what does the provisions manager want from us? Alright, apparently we've got to go establish a camp there in the ancient forest. Okay, so we're not technically hunting the Puki-Puki yet, I believe. That may come a little bit later. Okay, so our mission is rebuild the ancient forest camp. Alright, we can definitely do that. Now, before we head off, we have to do two things, of course. First of all, we are heading up to the canteen to quickly have a nice meal. And after that, of course, secondly, we are going to quickly change over to the other weapon. Because, well, I have been mucking about a bit with the charge blades, so that should be this one right over here. I am definitely not proficient with it, so please do excuse the chaos that is going to happen today. But I'm going to do my best to actually use the charge blade quite alrightly. I am also going to take this charge blade and upgrade it so that we have a nice, a little bit stronger at least, weapon. So that will be absolutely marvelous. And here it is. Now I may also want some better armor because, well, the armor here is not great. It does give me a little bit of fire protection, but not really a lot of defense. So, I'm not going to go for chainmail, that will slow me down too much, I think. But I'm not going to go for the Jagras armor either, because even though it looks really amazing, the defenses there, yeah, like minus the thunder and ice, that does not bode well. So I think what I will go for, most likely, is actually the bone armor. I've got enough of everything, I think, to make the whole set. One change, though, is instead of the bone coil here, I am going to go for the Hunter's Coil because it gives me the Scent Hound ability, which is useful since it does allow my Scout Fly's gauge to actually fill up faster. Whereas the Bone Coil here increases the effect duration of the Hunting Horn melodies. I don't use a Hunting Horn, so that is not that useful to me, but this one may be. And there we go. Now I'm looking intimidating. And there we go. Now I am ready. Unfortunately, it is nighttime, so this is going to be a nighttime hunt. Okay, I've already eaten, I have my new armor, I have my new weapon. Yeah, this could work. Alright, now for this expedition, we are heading to the ancient forest, so let's go there. In front here, we do have a shepherd hare. I do believe we've got two. We've got one right over here and another one hiding behind the log right over there. Kind of chilling in the road, I guess. But massive, massive ears and very, very flexible ears, so they can, there we go, pop it up. They're hearing something, they're listening out for danger. Very often, if you look at hares and rabbits and things like that, they have big ears, which does allow sound waves to be channeled into the ear, so they do have excellent hearing. They're also quite a fluffy little creature, but a very long tail there, unlike rabbits and hares. So this, almost to me at least, has more of a stoat or a weasel-like appearance, even though it is called a shepherd hare. Now, just because something is called a hare does not mean it is actually related to hares. I mean, we have got the mountain chicken, for example, which is not a chicken. It is a type of frog that just happens to taste like chicken, and that is why it is called the mountain chicken. So, yeah, maybe these little guys, the shepherd hare, actually taste like hare, and they're not related to hare at all. Now, they do appear to usually occur in small groups, most likely male and female, most likely holding this territory, so they appear to be at least semi-territorial. I've never seen massive groups of them together, usually just one or two living together. Now, they do have these longitudinal lines, these lines running from the head down to the tail, very similar to a skunk or a polecat or a zorilla, something along those lines. And that could be to break up the outline. It could be a form of disruptive camouflage, where spots and stripes, for example, thinking of a leopard spots and a tiger stripes, that will help to break up the outline. In this case, unlike a tiger, it's not running from the top to the bottom of the body. Instead, it's running longitudinally, running along the body, very similar to frogs like this one up there, the striped stream frog, which occurs in grass environments. So maybe these little guys here are designed to actually occur in tall grasses, where the alternating light and dark stripes actually mimic grasses and the shadow of the grasses above it. Maybe that's where they actually are perfectly camouflaged. But they do occur in the forest here as well. They're perfectly fine and content living over here. Alright, now, we do not have a time limit, so we can explore quite a bit. However, I do want to finish this within a certain amount of time, so we're not going to spend too much time necessarily exploring everything. We will be back in a future episode as well. Now, we have found some great Jagras tracks again. Of course, in the previous episode, I have already fought the great Jagras. We have defeated it as well. Let's just grab some herbs while we are at it. That way we can make some potions if we need to. And that is also one of the advantages of doing these little expeditions. You're grabbing a whole bunch of material that you can use later. If looking at where we are right over here. I suspect we're heading somewhere, possibly, well, somewhere a little bit north. We are just going to keep on moving through the forest here. Of course, there are lots of little trails here made by things like great Jagras moving through the environment. Now, it does appear like there is a great Jagras actually coming up. Now, luckily, as we saw before, great Jagras do not attack unless you attack first. Hello there. Now, they are, of course, as mentioned in the last episode, very similar to iguanas, which are actually herbivorous. These ones, however, not herbivorous. They are definitely carnivorous. They're feeding on things like the Anjanath we've got in the environment that we passed a little bit earlier as well. Might as well grab some spider webs. We are going to use that later on in a future episode to actually trap the monsters we fight. Oh, and here we've got some normal Jagras. Listen here, guys. I did not want to fight you. However, you have brought this upon yourself. Now, the Jagras there, they do realize when they are outmatched. And in this case, yeah, we have killed 3 of them there. The charge blade is incredibly strong, I will give it that. I did just realize that I was heading the wrong way. It seems as though I was supposed to take this little trail up here rather than the other trail, so fast traveled back to camp and here we go. Aha, so we've got a researcher here looking for grimalkins, a type of lionian that are native to this new world of ours. And this little one wants to research them and communicate with them. Okay. We have got what appears to be a massive grasshopper here. Not very good at the whole flying bit. Although it can, of course, jump up and down using its very nice, strong hind legs. Just going to try to capture them. There we go. Emperor Hopper. Did I catch 2 for the price of 1 there? It does look like it. Okay. And here we go. Doodles, properly made by the grimalkins. Okay, so the field leader has found something. Now, this looks like quite a dangerous area, so let's just be careful. Because I feel like there could be something dangerous around here. I mean, there were a few bones lying around as well. Always pay attention to your environment around you. Oh, I was heading in the wrong direction. The X actually marks where the great Jagras is going, which is what I'm tracking at the moment. That is where the field team leader is. So I'm just going to set a waypoint to him. Now it should be easier, now that I finally found where he is. Of course, in this forested environment, we've got a lot of plants here that are perfectly suited for life in the undergrowth. Not a lot of light reaching this understory over here. And you can see we're technically enclosed completely by massive trees around here. The tree ferns here are doing quite well, though. They tend to occur in these forested environments, and if it's too much sun, they don't tend to survive. This looks very similar to some of the Sahathia species we have on Earth. You can see here all along the stem here, these round circles here, those were spots where the fronds actually attached, and then over time they dried out. They were the old leaves, no longer photosynthesizing effectively. So the plant pulled a lot of nutrients from it, and then just basically killed the leaves off, and then as they drop off, that is where the leaf was actually attached. Those scars on the stem there would be where the leaves were attached. And then it started out quite small. I mean, this was a small little fern, like some of these other ones we can see around here, but this one over here is quite an old individual. And you can see they grow quite tall. I mean, some of these can be 4 or 5 meters tall relatively easily. I absolutely love it. I would love to have a tree fern in our garden as well. We're hoping to germinate some and actually start growing them. That would be absolutely amazing. But so far, germination has been very, very slow. Apparently the spot they want to set up the camp is right up here. There are, however, some old footprints around, so there's something in this area. Ooh, hello there. You're a parrot toad. Oh, wow. Brilliant coloration on this parrot toad. I mean, that would most likely mean it's a paralysis toad, the parrot toad. Very similar to, if you're looking at horned frogs from South America, they will have that like horn above the eye that is there to also break up the outline. I mean, we do have the binoculars, we can have a good look at it that way. So you can see those horns there above the eyes, yeah, that is disruptive camouflage. And the sail there, not sure what the sail is for on the paratoad here. They do have a very short tail, which is different from, you know, adult frogs on Earth, where adult frogs are, of course, amphibians that do not have tails. They lose their tails as they go from tadpole to adult. The brighter colors we have here, and the striking colors actually, most likely a form of aposematic coloration, basically bright colors to warn that, listen, I am poisonous, do not eat me. So too, those reddish, orangish eyes also stand out quite a bit. Probably to also tell you, listen, do not eat me, do not lick me, do nothing with me. You are going to have a horrible, horrible time for it. But as I said, those horns you will find in the horned frogs. There are a few horned frogs. I mean, the South America has the proper horned frogs. And then they're all over the show. There are some frogs with these horn-like projections. And one of the largest frogs ever known, the Beelzebufo, is hypothesized to also have had some kind of similar horn-like structure on their heads, most likely above their eyes as well. That is quite a cool amphibian. I am going to collect it. Hello, paratoad. That is bad. I should have caught it, not kick it. Okay. Well, I learned something new today. Okay, so it does seem that if you kick the paratoad, what happens is it has an amazing defense mechanism whereby it releases this shock charge that knocks you unconscious for a bit. Alright, now, that is good to know. That means that I should in future try to catch them, not kick them. You learn something new every day. Alright, so let's head up here by the leader. Something tells me... Oh, there we go. Ooh, that is a Kulu-Ya-Ku. Wow. That is a beautiful, beautiful monster. They seem to be quite skittish. Interesting. Okay. Kulu-Ya-Ku.
Well, if we don't take care of that pest, the camp won't last a night.
Alright, so we do need to now hunt the Kulu-Ya-Ku. Not that I know where it went. I mean, it went up here, but we can't follow, so I guess we've got to run this way. Ah, there it is on the map. I do see it. Okay. Hello there. Now, the Kulu-Ya-Ku is also, similar to the great juggras, not aggressive unless you attack it first. Now, it is most likely a mixture of traits between, well, first of all, actually a dodo, believe it or not. Looking at that beak there, that beak and the general head is very reminiscent of a dodo. So this is actually a pigeon relative, believe it or not, although a very, very scaly pigeon relative. It does have a few feathers. I mean, on the crest and on the throat there, it does have a bit of a... Oh, it actually got a dewlap rather than a bunch of feathers there. And then on the arms, it also has some feathers. Now, it's also based on two non-avian dinosaurs, the Velociraptor, or one of the Dromaeosaurids actually, and also on the Oviraptor. The reason I say Oviraptor is because it does steal the eggs of other monsters and eats it, which is something that initially when Oviraptor was described, it was believed that they did. So Oviraptor means egg thief. That's because the first Oviraptor was found with a nest of eggs, and initially it was thought, oh, it was stealing the eggs and using its mouth to actually break into the eggs and then eat it. Turns out, no, that was just a very, very caring mother sitting with her eggs, and Oviraptor did not actually eat eggs. They most likely ate fruit and insects and stuff like that. So this Kulu-Ya-Ku is based on that initial thought of Oviraptor's behavior, how misplaced it may have been. And secondly, if you look at the feet of the Kulu-Ya-Ku, you'll find that it actually has that sickle claw that we find in dromaeosaurs. And the dromaeosaurs would have used that to grapple prey, to pin it to the ground and then to inflict damage to it. Now, whether the Kulu-Ya-Ku here does that, I don't know, but in theory, it would. Now, unfortunately, we are going to now have to pass through the area with the great juggras and the normal juggras. It seems the great juggras and the Kulu-Ya-Ku are also quite alright with each other.
A few moments later.
It seems like there is a bit of chaos happening outside here. Is that a Rathalos? Kulu-Ya-Ku is running away. Oh, no, that's a... oh, that's... Oh, that's bad. That is very bad. That's an Anjanath. Oh, wow. Did the Kulu-Ya-Ku try to attack the Anjanath? It did, didn't it? Why is it doing that? It should be running away. The Kulu-Ya-Ku is supposedly very, very smart. And knows when it is outmatched. But it has decided to actually, it seems, go after the Anjanath. Strange. Now we, of course, are also not very smart. We are following the Anjanath and the Kulu-Ya-Ku. Okay, there are some Kestodon up there as well. Oh, under attack by Jagras, of course we are. Okay, so here we go, past the Kestodon to get to the Kulu-Ya-Ku, which is right up there. Finally found him. We should be able to catch up with him up ahead. Ah, moss swine. We'll talk about the moss swine again later. For now, I'm still hunting, looking. That is very confusing, which is typical of jungles. I mean, hell of a confusing. There we go, finally found him. So let's do this, shall we? Sorry, Kulu-Ya-Ku. I do not really want to do this, but I've got to get rid of you. So let's bring out the heavier gun, shall we? There we go. That did a bit of damage. Now, of course, it is digging out a rock, which it can use as a shield. Naughty. And there we go. That should do some damage. And also destroyed the rock. And come on. And nice hit there. And there should be a nice whack. I'm loving the charge blade, but it is actually surprisingly... It's not as complex as I initially thought. But it's also not easy. That's for sure. Okay, I do believe the Kulu-Ya-Ku is somewhere up ahead. There he is. Aha. Very aggressive attacks, using of course the rock. He's capable of tool use, which is really amazing. Very few non-primate animals will actually be able to use tools, but apparently the Kulu-Ya-Ku is one of those. Which indicates a very high level of cognitive ability. And there we go, throwing the rock, of course. Let's just get a nice charged hit in it. There we go, I did get him at least a little bit. He is looking quite damaged, I must say. He was using his very strong forelimbs earlier to actually dig out the rocks. Oh, there is an Anjanath coming this way as well. We will try to avoid it. Oh, that is not good. That is not good. Let's try to run the other way. Oof. How do we avoid the Anjanath? Is the Anjanath coming here or is he leaving? It does appear as though the Anjanath is leaving. Okay, so we can just follow behind a bit. Yeah, the Kulu-Ya-Ku has got very strong forelimbs. Interesting, it does jump occasionally. It does jump up, indicating that it is using its... Oh, that's the Anjanath snot, isn't it? Yeah, that's Anjanath snot. Yeah, mucus. Okay, but indicating that that Kulu-Ya-Ku is trying to grapple us with its sickle-shaped claws, which is what dromaeosaurs would have done. The things like Velociraptor. Now, Velociraptor, of course, nowhere near as big as portrayed in the movies and in many media. Instead, Velociraptors were only about, well, not ankle height, but knee height. Okay, it does seem like the Anjanath does walk up here occasionally, so we will hopefully not encounter him, though. It sounds as though they are fighting, the Anjanath and the Great Jagras. I hear a battle just on the other side of these trees. Might be nice looking at it. Oh! There's a Great Jagras, and there is our Kulu-Ya-Ku. I'm not sure what the great Jagras was fighting though. I'm suspecting the Anjanath. But look at that. There's the Kulu-Ya-Ku right over here. Shame he is limping. Very, very, very poor condition. I'm sure we will encounter another Kulu-Ya-Ku at some point as well, which we will then, of course, talk a little bit more about. For now, though, let us try to finish this fight. Could actually try to... Nah, you know what? Oh, there we go. I could drop the rocks on him, but where's the fun in that? Okay, using the rock as a defense again. And probably will be bashing me. Yep, bashing us with that. Okay, got a bit of a hit on him there. Wounded, trying to posture a bit. Now I believe he is just running, trying to get back to his nest to recover health. We should be quite close. Hello, Kulu-Ya-Ku. We are here to end it, I'm afraid. Oh, it had an egg here. Most likely was trying to eat an egg. And that was, of course, a flash bug. Oh, it should be so close now. There we go.
Select a stare from the world map so we can go.
Okay. Shame. I am going to start trapping the creatures at some point as well, rather than trying to kill them. Ooh, interesting. Let's have a look here. Looking at those fingers, they're actually flanged. They have got webbing there. Not really webbing between them, but look at that. Most likely to increase the surface area and most likely to actually grip onto eggs without breaking them. So that is a very, very interesting adaptation. It looks very similar to some of the leaf-toed geckos, for example, but it does still have those very nice, long, thin claws, which it can use, of course, to defend itself as well. And then looking at its feet there you can see the sickle claw right over there. That is the second toe of on the foot. There's the first toe over there. It's quite a small one. And then that would be the sickle claw right over there. And then the two other normal toes. So it, like a velociraptor and the other dromaeosaurs, they walk kind of on two toes there. And then they've got that sickle claw raised above the ground. And they don't walk with that on the ground because otherwise that will get blunted. And with it not blunting, it's nice and sharp. And it's ready to actually jump onto something, a prey animal, and actually grip onto it, pin it to the ground, and then bite at it with its dodo-like beak, which is right over there. Now, the reason I say this is actually a dodo relative is because of the beak. If you look at the beak, you can see there that grey bit at the tip there, and then the yellowish bit. That grey bit, that is the keratinized part of the beak. That is the hardened bit of the beak. And in pigeons and doves in the Colombidae family, only the tip of it is actually keratinized. The rest of it is a little bit softer. You'll see that if you look at pigeons and doves, you'll see that typical beak structure over there. That will extend about a third or halfway up. Oh, it has vanished. We did not harvest it. Okay, we should have actually harvested it. But I love talking about it. Oh well, that is very, very sad. Okay, next time we will hopefully be able to harvest it. It was a fun hunt though. Okay, so let's then head back to Astera, because this was a successful expedition. Thankfully we did get some special rewards there. We did get the Kulu-Ya-Ku hide, the plume there, the scales, some more plumes, and the beak as well. Alright, so now they will be able to establish a campsite there. And that also means that we now have a place to actually travel to. If you wanted to go to Ancient Forest, we can now go to the northeast camp as well, fast travel to that point, rather than the southwest camp, so we're a little bit deeper in the forest now. Alright, but I think that is actually a good spot to end today's episode. So thank you very much everyone for joining me on a little adventure here. Hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun as always. And hopefully on Sunday, Nick and I will be back in Ark Survival Ascended. We'll be live streaming that. Come and join us for a nice relaxing stream then. And then also on Tuesday, I'll be back in Towers of Agaspa. And next week, Friday, another Monster Hunter World episode coming out. If you've got any questions about any of the creatures we encountered, anything whatsoever, any tips you may have, please do pop it down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer and comment as best I can. And until next time everybody, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Bye.